been a minute, hasn't it? Good morning, after evening, my beautiful people. My name is All Night, and how you doing? It's been a while since we talked. How you feeling? Are the kids still doing all right? Are you?
Hey, All Night, what happened to your hair?
Well, you see, the thing about that, Yeah, that's a story for another time. It has been a hot minute since we last discussed Gigabash. I had a lot of fun just, covering the DLC as it was leading up to the Nemesis DLC launch, and I've had a lot of fun with the Nemesis DLC ever since it launched. But ever since then, the Gigabash news cycle has been, obviously pretty dry, seeing as we were all just getting our feet wet with the DLC. But this is not the end of Gigabash. Far from it. I wanted to use this video to briefly discuss the future of Gigabash as the game, the future of my coverage of the game, and potentially what may be next. Avert your eyes. Hold on, don't look back there. Avert your eyes. Nope, yeah, but you gotta wait for that. But in the meantime, let's get back to Gigabash. Shortly after the DLC launched, Passion Republic hosted a live stream over on YouTube where they played the DLC, went through, new characters, talking about developing the characters, and also discussed and answered questions from the community. I unfortunately couldn't catch the live stream live because they are on a vastly different time zone from myself, and I was EP. But if you haven't checked out the live stream, definitely check it for yourself because they answer a lot of interesting questions about Gigabash's development and the future of Gigabash DLC. I think it's no secret to anyone, it sounds like the DLCs for this game have been a massive success thus far, and they want to keep doing them. They are hearing every single request from Gamera to Power Rangers to King Kong all across the board. So rest assured, we're gonna be getting more monsters in this game fairly soon. It's a matter of who and when at this point. And I think we may know who and maybe when next. One of the big takeaways that I took from the live stream was that they are actually potentially developing original monsters as a future DLC expansion. It's not just gonna be crossover monsters, it sounds as though we have some unique and interesting original characters that are gonna be coming to the game in the form of a DLC pack, which I think is super dope. I think we as a media culture have kind of just wrapped ourselves up in established IPs and crossovers, and we only want established IPs. We don't like seeing original stuff anymore. So I dig the fact that Gigabash will be embracing its original designs and giving us even more, great new designs. Because I think the Gigabash roster has some pretty dope designs. Wooly's fantastic. I love Reiwa. Keep up the good work and give us something really cool with some original monsters. And they could use this as a loophole and a way to get around, getting a King Kong in the roster at some point. We don't have one of those yet. And I would love to see a giant monkey up in this roster. So again, it sounds like we may get a 2-pack or a 4-pack, who knows, the licensing issues with original monsters are non-existent because they're original. So who knows when necessarily that may come. That could be our next DLC, potentially down the road, to maybe just give them more time to develop, even crazier licensed DLC, give us Gamera, give us more Godzilla, give us what you got, Passion Republic, keep them coming. But the other potential, expansion to Gigabash, the next front of Gigabash, may be looking us right in the face. For those of you kaiju fans living under a rock, as of June 1st, Toho officially released Godzilla -1 on Netflix worldwide. I really want to rewatch Godzilla -1 and definitely want to check out the dubbed version, see how that stacks up with the original. I may give you guys my thoughts on that. Definitely like and subscribe. Check that out if you are interested in my thoughts on a potential re-review of -1. Link in the description for my original review of -1. Spoiler alert, I loved it. But Godzilla -1 finally coming to the States and, just worldwide outside of Japan, it's much more important to the future of Gigabash than you may think. Given that Passion Republic have their foot in the door over at Toho, it's not unlikely that another iteration of Godzilla, another incarnation, could potentially see the spotlight in this game. Lots of fans want Monsterverse Godzilla, original Showa Godzilla, Millennium Godzilla. We want to see Godzilla variety because, the Heisei era has so much representation now in the game. We want to see something else. Well, the man, the myth, the legend, and the founder of Passion Republic Games, CERN, I think that's how you pronounce his name, CERN, comment down below if I am butchering that, pretty please. I want to be respectful to my man. But CERN over on Twitter did make essentially an announcement saying, hey, you know, Passion Republic community, would you love for Godzilla -1 to make his way to Gigabash? This, of course, had the entire kaiju community spiraling out of control. You know, everything's on fire, and we are immensely hyped at the possibility of -1 getting the video game treatment with Gigabash. Needless to say, I think our odds of -1 representation in Gigabash are much higher than you may think. Again, specifically because it's Toho, not necessarily through Legendary, the Monsterverse. That's a completely different company that they have to go through and get the rights to. You know, the Monsterverse is sanctioned by Legendary with the approval from Toho. So there's a lot of weird legal nonsense going between the two. But I think at the end of the day, the core lesson here is that Passion Republic are on Toho's good side in terms of developing Godzilla content for their game consecutively. You know, doing more than one pack, I think -1's coming. The question is, how would you do Godzilla -1 in Gigabash? We have two routes that they may potentially go, and I have theories for both on how they could potentially implement this. Scenario 1 is a free DLC update to Gigabash that just gives us a character skin over base Heisei Godzilla in Gigabash. If you are familiar with the skeleton structure of Heisei Godzilla, Heisei and -1 Godzilla share not a similar silhouette, but a similar skeletal structure. Like, -1 does not look like Millennium Goji in the least bit. They have a different body type. Same way how Millennium and Legendary are still slightly different body types and proportions, and the way that they, you know, their posture, all of that's different. So -1 Goji making his way to Gigabash, the simplest and quickest and easiest way to accomplish that would be to just reskin the base Godzilla model. And the question of it being a free update, I mean, that's me just being optimistic here, but I'm gonna be for real with y'all. I'm gonna keep it $1.50. I would pay $5.50 for a -1 DLC. Even if it was just $5 for a skin, I have spent far worse. I will support the game however I need to, whether it is a skin or if they manage to make -1 a new character. There is something to be said about Godzilla -1 and Heisei Godzilla existing in the same game, but Pipeworks were doing it for damn near 10 years, so I don't see how this is much different. Out the gate, I would think that -1 Godzilla should actually be smaller than Heisei Godzilla, because Heisei Godzilla is canonically larger than -1 Godzilla. I think -1 Godzilla is actually one of the smallest iterations of the character we have ever seen. Kind of in line with like 1954 Godzilla. The problem with that is that Heisei Godzilla, in his own starring role in Gigabash here, he's not very big. Ghidorah is massive, Destroya is massive, but Godzilla is of average height to compare to the rest of the roster. That, and I don't even know if the developers for Gigabash really give a hoot on size continuity here, because again, Heisei Godzilla should be like 50 times bigger than the entire cast of Gigabash. But it's a video game. We don't care about that. We just love seeing our boy, you know what I mean? So I really don't think that size is a factor that we're gonna give a crap about. So my ideal scenario is this. If I was a video game developer, which I am not, I'm a stupid YouTuber that thinks he has good ideas, but if I were to create Godzilla -1 as a Godzilla archetype for a fighting game, Heisei Godzilla in Gigabash is kind of an all-arounder, really focuses on mid-ranged combat, you know, keeping space with his tail, his atomic breath, all of that. I think that -1 Godzilla should easily be a heavyweight. I think he should be a heavyweight that has big, really high-impact attacks. He should be slow as all heck, but an absolute devastating force on the battlefield. I don't even think he should be airborne at all, not like Destroya, not like King Ghidorah. It's something more akin to maybe, I don't know, maybe Ziva, maybe? I don't know. I'm just thinking of size overall. And the trick here, the plot twist with my idea for a -1 Godzilla in Gigabash would be no atomic breath, at least in his base moveset. I think that they should save his atomic breath as his ultimate. For those of you that saw -1, you all know that the scene of him using his atomic breath for the first time is the most high impact and emotional scene in the entire movie. The silence was deafening after the atomic breath scene, to say the least. So I think, realistically, a -1 Goji ultimate should be him using his atomic breath, the cool spine animation of the spines locking into place, and then absolutely devastating and nuking the center of the arena with a massive high impact breath attack. For everything else, just keep it business as usual. Big tail swipes, big claw attacks, and big stompies. I think that all makes sense for Godzilla at this point. And maybe have his S-Class be the more mutated version of the character that we saw later on in the film. That one still haunts my dreams, but I think it could make sense if they want to do a cool S-Class. I do think there is enough with -1 Godzilla to make him stand out and to make him different. It all just depends on how you see the character. Do you just see him as another expression of Heisei, or do you see him as his own Godzilla with his own fighting style? It could all go 50-50. However they want to do it is how they're going to do it. All we can do is wait to find out. But that's pretty much all I had to say here today. The road for Gigabash's future is looking brighter than ever. We know we're going to get more Godzilla DLC, and we know we're probably going to be getting new original characters in the future. This game's going to continue to evolve and get bigger and better than ever. And rest assured, ya boy, the #1 Gigabash content creator, is going to be there every step of the way. So make sure you stay locked in, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the latest Gigabash news as soon as it's made available to the public. Also, if you're partially interested in me talking about stuff that is not Gigabash, rest assured, I got an interesting one cooked up for you. I should say it's in the oven, it is cooking. Stay tuned. Also, please know I have not forgotten about hosting a stream where we all play Gigabash together. I just have to figure out when that's going to happen. I'll post another video confirming when we're going to have a big old Gigabash party later down the road. In closing, I thank you so much for clicking on this video. Once more, do not forget to like the video, show the algorithm some love, subscribe for more content. But as always, I have been your host all night, and do not forget to stay loved, keep loving, and have a wonderful night.